can fit in a lot of compositions, but I don't think it's going to be an Olaf.
I think you can run the Olaf here on Nova because there's a couple small differences, right? You have to come out on your team this time. That's going to be a big boon to you. And also, I think if they play a little bit more conservatively around the dive timings, if they don't flip it at the dive, maybe the Olaf gets into the mid to late game better. I don't think it's the ideal pick still, but I think you can run it back here. But you have to be very aware that 0711 is just going to play the Kazakhs again.
Yeah, absolutely. That means Nova, on paper, you beat FPX's composition if they're going for the long haul. Early to mid game is your approach. Instead, we're seeing the Lee Sin. FPX wants to take this, of course, survive and get it to a game number 5.
This is looking very, very intense.
Yeah,
and the thing, suddenly there is a swap going on. Omo, are you feeling more secure?
I'm feeling comfortable. We're going to a game 5. I think this is a very FPX comp.
Yep.
Call back to the videos between the two teams where they were trash-talking each other. Nova just said that we know what 0711 is going to do. He wants to play early game for his teammates while Long wants to farm. Lee Sin is the #1 champion for that. You tempo the early game, you control the pace of the game, and you have Selma back on that Ziggs. This is FPX finally drafting some comfort here.
I love this though. The response is the Wukong. We talked about the offensive and the defensive maneuver that a Wukong can provide to the team. Lee Sin dashes in, 0711 dashes in, then boom, you get Cyclone.
Yeah, you just flip him up in the air, and this sets up for a very cool possible Gragas angle, I think, as well. You have the double displacement. We forgot about that pick.
Camille! I know.
Oh, man.
This could be long. This could definitely
Another
be
reason why I really love this, exactly. It could be Longs, right? It's a double flex angle. It could be Long playing Wukong. Could be Iza playing Wukong. Who's going to get the Camille? We don't know. We get the flex set. And both matchups, well, I think the Wukong matchup's better into the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And FPX should definitely ban the Galio. Yami has played 2 consecutive Galios, has won 2-0. Pairing it with a Camille, Hextech Ultimatum with the Hero's Entrance is going to be deadly.
I feel like FPX right now, they feel more like themselves.
Sure.
I think like on stage, you know, after that, they just needed to gain that momentum.
Yeah.
And after, you know, talking with their coach and everything, after realigning everything, they know how Nova came to play today. They have a better idea of how their opponent is feeling right now. Now they have all of the cards in their hands to be able to close out the series. But Nova Esports, I feel like, you know, they will still push this as well, but I'm feeling more confident with FPX's draft.
Yeah, honestly, FPX, we've dubbed them as the best team fighting team in the tournament, and 2 games straight, they've been losing all of these team fights. Game 3, they've recovered and basically recovered that title, and I feel like, just as you mentioned, Mika, this is very important. That previous game was very important to gain momentum back.
I do want to point out a quick fact as well. Riven has been a 100% win rate so far.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that's going to help out FPX here. The champion's been doing a lot for sure. Okay, that's interesting. So they're afraid of a Garen mid here. If you're afraid of a Garen mid, what are you going for?
Assassins!
That's gone.
That's true. Akali's still up. Akali? But that's too much. I mean, honestly, if Nova goes for mech-heavy champions to finish this series, I see it coming. What a way to do it, right?
There is a matchup that we haven't had just yet. I am still, you know, like, we of course saw the jungle matchups and everything. Iza and Fado, like, I'm really waiting for them to really push it because we did see the jungles come online. We have an Alistar coming in for the side of FPX.
Why are they saving 5 pick for Yezi here? This is a bit weird to me because he doesn't normally get the last pick, right? He doesn't normally get the counter pick. Maybe we're seeing a world where Ziggs goes mid and we see a counter pick for Xiaoma. I doubt it, but...
Yeah, but I see where you're going, Omu, because they need more damage. This is a very low damage composition for early to mid. This is not, we're going to bank on 0711 to scale in the late game. No, they need additional damage. So I see. Gragas Varus, I love this so much from Nova. They want to end it. Yeah, they want to end it here, right now.
Okay, why do you think that this basically seals the deal for Nova Esports?
Because it's so aggressive. They have damage everywhere. Early to mid game, really good. If FPX goes on the aggression, they've got disengage, they've got a lot of poke and wave clear as well. And the fact that they have a Karma, it's so good for the Wukong, for everybody else to follow through any... okay.
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking like maybe it's a Riven mid.
A Riven mid or Renekton mid.
But I don't like either of these though.
Yeah.
Like, what's the rationale here actually? Like, why are you... I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Are they out of picks maybe? Genuinely, they might be out of picks.
Yeah. It's super interesting. Very AD heavy comp. Can snowball early. Top half of the map, basically, waiting for Xiaoma to basically scale into the later game as late game insurance. But FPX feels like they're also aiming for early game. Honestly, this is early game.
So let's see some action.
Yeah!
Well, we're hearing the teams give out their battle cries as well. This is actually the first time I feel like I've heard them really, shout and yell on stage, so they're definitely ready. Can this go to a Game 5? That's the big question. Let's send it back to Rafa and T.
So well, this is team fighting. This is everyone demonstrating their mechanical skill. This is FPX taking Nova face first into the team fights, which Nova have also drafted for. So we're gonna have 5v5s and team fights all game for potentially still the final game or the series tying game if we want to go to a Game 5.
A full distance could be had if FPX are
Look
the
at
ones
the
that come
full
up clutch.
5 games?
Please. Please. I want the best series
Mark is
ever.
gazing up to the rafters, praying to some god of Wild Rift.
Aurelion Soul.
Aurelion, so praying to Aurelion Soul.
A-Soul, please.
A-Soul, please, give us 5. Fado now playing on the top side of the map versus Yiza in the 1v1 that has been so decisive across this series, and I do want to mention it, this is the first time we've seen the Camille.
Oh, look at that. Fado getting bold in the face of Yitse, and it's because 0711 answers early.
This is the first time we've seen the Camille in answer to the Ribbon, not taking the tank, but instead saying, we can get aggressive and win the mechanics check for Nova. 0711 for the first time in the series on the Lee Sin, a character which needs to get out in lane early and does demonstrate where exactly that pressure is going to go every single time into this Camille in the top lane.
It's 2 camp clear right into a gank before the Scuttle Crab comes up. He's going to replenish on HP and resources, and now if he can get Yetzi out of lane, make a pilot, 3 people over to the top side of the map, look for a dive against Yitse while his flash is down.
Yeah, Yitsa is going to be constantly under pressure, but that is another advantage of the Camille. The Camille with hook shot can reset under pressure. Once you hook shot onto a wall, nobody can target you. So if you time it well, you can avoid massive engage spells. Makes it the ideal champion to survive pressure with.
Yeah, see, already fighting for mid-wave control. He wants to set up.
Is gnarly, dude.
Yeah.
I really love it. I think Yize pressuring in here, Yezi, using the Renekton as a direct draft into the Karma is a really good call, saying, okay, well, I can instantly clear waves, and I can bully this Karma and make sure we don't get to the more supportive late game.
And one of the things that Karma does so well in is against bruisers that don't have sustain. Guess what Renekton has supplies of, TJ?
Sustain?
Bingo.
Wow, dude. Yes, he's going to be able to stay in these fights as the frontline, as the attention-grabbing force during the early game. And he's going to have 2 teammates in that. Fado, who we've seen the effect of a Riven this series.
Dude! Okay! Yami was looking for the body slam, but the Krug spawned at the last minute.
That was crazy!
Dude, 0711's got to pay the Krugs after this game.
He's got to pay A-Soul. He paid to A-Soul and got a Krug spawn. I don't know quite what that poke was for, the satchel charge, but it was really funny. Knocked remake off of his arrow trajectory, denied him like 1 CS.
You got to do whatever to get into Nova's heads. You just took a game and prevented the clean sweep. If FPX can get in their heads and go for the reverse sweep, that would be a huge tilter.
So far, oh, what a kick!
0711 already getting the flash out of Neon, and it's Long that answers back. Shenan's Embrace, it's not enough damage. 0711 goes down to Long, and he cannot pursue the dive.
1-for-1 trade in the early phase. Lei stepping forward, down bottom onto remake. He finds that kill.
Lei cleans it up, and Yami cannot answer back. Oh, everybody's gonna try. Ignite forward, dude. Lei is stepping up. He doesn't get it. Oh, but the Ignite finally takes him down.
The minions and the Ignite, I think, combine to find the kill. And Yami gets a 1-for-1 trade he frankly should not have gotten. Xiaoma, during that time, surviving all the pressure. And so FPX don't get a gold lead, despite what was a really sick mid-play from 0711, despite everything on paper going right for them.
Dude, but this kick was freaking sick.
Biggest brain kick in the universe, but then okay, you're in the middle of this, and the Transcendent Embrace drops, and then there's a Wukong just auto-attacking you.
Whacking
you kind of goes sideways from there, because you're in a close 1v1 against Long, who's always going to output max damage.
It was the Venn diagram of death right there. Neon, Transcendent Embracing Cyclone.
And, you know, we're talking a lot about FPX's game plan. It is worth mentioning that for the first time in this series, Long is positioned on a hard carry. He's off the Lee Sin, which is normally only good during the early game. And he's onto characters that can do real damage.
4 seconds away from objective spawning here. Nova and FPX already in position.
Up at the top side, it is going to be a Rift Herald burned by FPX. Infernal Drake taken by Nova.
0711 wants to continue the snowball going for Fado. He was able to burn a summoner spell off of Yitse, but he survives the pressure, still has the gold lead. This time, they're going to ram it in harder.
Top lane push will come out. Fado and co. forcing this turret to fall. I think the choice of objectives does also indicate exactly where they're going to put their focus in this game. It's all about using the Rift Herald to close this game quickly for FPX.
A lot of damage. Long forces. Cyclone cannot stop the Rift Herald from getting the charge in, but they kill it down. Oh, that's the 1v2. Lei coming from behind the turret. Yitse is forced to flash away, but Fado follows up with the Wind Slash. Just a couple more on attack. Lei being the big Chad and taking all the tower.
On the bottom side of the map, Neon is trying to defend his jungle, and he's brought Yami in to do it.
Good exhaust, but he dodges the body slam by dashing to Neon with the Sonic Wave. Resonating strike, being able to flash away. 0711, you're freaking insane on the Lee Sin.
He can't find it. And so this will be turret pressure, but it's going to be traded in mid. Shalmon needs just one package, one satchel charge.
Dude, Long tried to respawn back with low HP, but Shalmon with the exhaust takes him out of the fight and gets the first brick.
And there it is. FPX, despite losing that trade on the bottom side, do manage to find the first turret break of the game. FPX are running the map right now, but Infernal Dragon did go over to Nova. But Nova do have a really good late-game team-fighting composition. This Camille will scale incredibly hard, as will Wukong, as will Karma, in terms of enabling both those carries we just talked about. And Remake is going to be perfect for late-game teamfights, where he can sit a mile away and just poke and prod away with the arrows. So, FPX, as indicated by their choice to take the Rift Herald, need to win early. That is what their composition is designed to do, and they should have a devastating advantage in the first 15 minutes of this game, or they will lose.
Which is why FPX flipped the switch as early as 1 minute and 20 seconds into the game. We saw the first move from 0711 getting the flash out, and the pressure has surmounted and snowballed ever since. Nova has been able to respond on some fronts, but it's still the gold advantage that FPX have netted for themselves.
So, FPX, how do you take the next step? How do you force another turret take, the gold advantage that they need in order to make sure that Nova can't just slowly grind their way back into it? Well, the key shutdowns are going to be Long and Yuza. You see the rotate here, FPX bringing 0711 up into this lane to try and get those kills. And then the other thing is going to be, you literally cannot let them get an objective. So, as we head into this next Drake, I want to see FPX contest the first spawn of the Rift Herald and then immediately be there for the Dragon. They have to double objective. And then the third thing, which we haven't seen, because I think I have enough time, is I need to see them take away jungle view.
Yes.
And they do have these two turrets down, and you see now FPX starting to put some aggressive vision down, but they need to be stealing away every little bit of farm from Long, depriving him of his late game, which is so powerful.
The further this game goes, the harder it is to kill a Wukong later in those team fights. With all the sustain and the maneuverability he can get in and out of fights.
Fado too far.
Explosive cast, but great last-minute maneuver from Fado, dodging out on the explosive cast. But a remake! It's a huge knockup from Lei. Mega Inferno Bomb finds the mark! And kaboom goes Remake just in time as the Rift Herald will spawn in 30 seconds.
And you see FPX looking for that kill, pressing so aggressively, knowing they can find an opportunity now that those turrets are down to take aggressive control of the enemy jungle. And their tank players being there in the jungle looking for slip-ups gives them a reward. And the more they do that, the slower Nova will have to rotate on the map because they can't pass through their own jungle if FPX are invading it. So I want to see more of that from FPX, more aggression. The fact that they're playing so slow and towards the teamfights right now is worrying me because it means we'll have a relatively even teamfight here for this Rift Herald.
Nova are actually the first ones here to the Rift Herald because FPX dedicated their split push resources to getting more turret plate gold on the opposite side of the map.
And they can't outscale Nova, so I think this is a mistake.
FPX gonna try to defend this tower from going down. So far, it's only 0-7-11. Shaman Yetzi making the rotation.
Fado's
it's a teleport from Fado as well. Lee is already stalled out. Yami on the re-engage so far. 0-7-11 sitting over the wall, dashing. Can he find the knockups here? But it's already lost.
Fado's down.
Who finds the initial one? But Lei deflating a lot of the aggression engage from Nova, but they still lose out on Fado.
So it's a trade advantage for Nova, and they now have a kill going into this dragon. And the worst thing is Fado can't even threaten to teleport into the fight.
Fado will be coming up in 10 seconds, have to take the long way walk back to the dragon. Nova have set themselves up for defense of this pit.
Yeah, they are going to stay on the map and they're going to burn this as quick as possible because they know they have a 5v4. No, they drift away. They give FPX control.
Oh, they're fighting for midway priority right now. They want to knock out the mid turret completely before they regain access to the pit.
And FPX's timer is ticking. They have to press an advantage now. The longer they wait in this game, especially having given away an even trade in turrets a couple of moments ago, the worse this game is going to get for them.
Look at this. By prepping the minion wave on the bottom side of the map, they're creeping through the bottom river entrance. They're walking for an opportunity where FPX will cede control and then find a rotation through the vision of darkness.
Lei and Fado zone Yami out of the pit. They gain information on where Nyan is as well, but they lose control of the pit itself, and several of their members are resetting right now, so they can't stay in this pit. This is a false front. Fado dashing forward there to threaten as if all of FPX are here, but they don't actually have the resources to fight.
It's a constant tug of war here, TJ. They're pulling in FPX where they don't have vision, and they're forcing them to play a game of death where they could be face-checking into multiple members.
Objective being contested, wave being pushed down bottom. Nova, no vision currently on the Drake, used the redemption to gain vision of it. FPX don't know where Nova are, which makes them nervous. They're using the Ziggs bouncing bombs to try and gain some vision on the opposite side and coming up with nothing.
And Nova don't mind playing the long game out of this one. Oh, Remake able to get enough distance.
Lei trying to headbutt Pulverize, misses the headbutt, just pulverizes, which cancels the entire play. He cannot follow up after that fumble. And he has to wait for his cooldowns to come back up, which causes FPX to reset.
Oh, huge stun from Yezi. Forces Yitze out, half HP.
He's always going to be able to disengage in those moments because they are playing Camille.
Oh, huge knockup though, Lei forcing the flash out of Yami. That's the main engage gone from Nova, now up to Long and Yitze to find the engage.
You take the dub in the burn of the flash, and FPX are going to say, that's enough for us to start this dragon, hoping that it will force Nova into a disadvantaged fight.
We have been at this pit for the past 2 minutes, TJ. They have been fighting over this dragon tirelessly. It's up to Nova to find Poke, but FPX keeping them at bay.
Roman, Long, into the pit.
He has a flash, but he doesn't want to be there for too long. Cyclone has already been popped. Decoy has strayed attention away from FPX. He's still alive, waiting for the dragon to be ticking down, but it is 0-11 that secures the dragon, and Remake was completely separated in that fight. Yami already biting the dust thanks to Fado, and Remake is on the run. The rest of Nova isolating Long as well. Don't drop a single member.
A brilliant team fight from FPX as they, as you say, split
decisions in the fights.
Speaking of precise, we're precisely back in the game.
Bam.
Bam.
Not as good as a Mika transition,
True.
but Mika is legendary with those.
We'll dream of equaling her. FPX and Nova back on the Rift. And FPX, as you talked about going into that break, do have a gold lead for kind of the first time this series. Nova Esports on the opposite side can play defense. They're waiting and scaling towards this Camille carry threat from Yiza.
This is where FPX have to really hammer in the advantage, though, because they cannot just be content with a 5,000, 6,000 gold lead for the next few minutes. That will give enough time for Nova to scale back up into their own late-game power. FPX have to make the next fight count into doing some major damage to the structures of Nova Esports' base.
Speaking of scaling, I do want to talk about Remake, because he's really struggled in a couple of fights in a row here. The entire time that both Nova and FPX were skirmishing around that dragon should have been Poke City for Remake.
Yeah.
But I was seeing too few arrows, and almost none of them were hitting. And there's a couple of reasons for that. I think Remake is struggling with vision. I think FPX are doing a really good job of locking down that vision. And I also think Remake, it's just really scary to be throwing out arrows close to a pit when you don't know where the lead is. Because if you throw an arrow over the ball and 0711 is nearby, Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike, easy kill.
Yeah.
So,
or he can even safeguard over the wall and kick you back into the pit, isolating from the rest of your team.
So Remake needs to be protected, and he needs to be more proactive and landing arrows. So, ooh, we got a little bit of a spin. Everyone's talking about that spin like it's a cosmetic decision, and it absolutely is. It is very stylish. But it also is a way to stop your enemy from being able to dodge the spell.
Yeah, because you don't know where it's going to be coming from.
Right. Never let them know your next move. Keep them guessing. And the little spin is the closest you can get to standing in a bush. It's actually really important to do if the enemy can see you charging the shot, because it's very easy, especially at high level, to see the fully charged shot and do a little movement to the left, do a little movement to the right, and avoid the damage. And for every arrow you miss, it costs you more cooldown time, which means you're getting less damage. So very cool to see Remake doing the spins, knows the tricks of the Varus trade.
Luna was the first one that showed us a lot of the Varus spins, and I always thought he was going for like 360 no scopes. But
He certainly was. It is very cool. It is also tactically significant.
hell,
Fado really going for it here.
dude, he just popped the ulti, and Long was like, "Bro, it's not that
All right,
serious."
dude. Okay.
It's just my blue buff, and they didn't even cast it. Whoa, they're burning down the Baron. They're starting it up.
Does Long know? I don't think Long knows.
They have to get into it.
Yami,
body
so
slam flash,
split.
but it's such a good stasis from Xiaoma, preventing the explosive cast from getting him back into the back line. Huge transcendent embrace. Hextech ultimatum from Yitse locks him down, but Yami still gets taken down by Fado, and it's a 5-on-4 now for FPX.
FPX have to fight so hard to get that kill, but they do have the advantage the entire team fight, so it's relatively safe for them. They get a fair number of cooldowns and do confirm the kill onto Yami. Unfortunately, it did cost them almost every flash on their team, so that's kind of interesting. Oh no, it's a majority flash still up. It only cost them Yezi and 0711. Xiaoma in the middle of the fight got caught in a really weird position, and I guess Satchel charged out. It looked like a flash to me. It was good Satchel charge.
And just good timing on the stasis to be able to reevaluate the decisions he needed to make in that fight.
Pause! Do not like this! FPX managed to get the kill, though. Not a whole lot with it. And sometimes I see critique from very good Western players. They're like, whoa, what are these teams fighting over? Well, sometimes it's okay to fight over kills, because getting a kill onto Yami gets gold onto your key carries. So anytime you can find a pick uncontested like there, it's safe for FPX to keep forcing kills or keep forcing the push, because they know that they have cooldown advantage and player advantage in that fight. They knew where Long was, they knew it was a safe fight to take, so they chased the kill.
And now we are 10 seconds away from the Elder Dragon spawning here, TJ.
And this is an objective that is worth fighting over. FPX do have full resources available again. Still missing flash on 07 and Yezi, but apart from that, top down.
Ooh, that's a good chunk.
And here we go for the Elder. FPX still in dangerous territory. They do have a several thousand gold lead, but if they lose this fight,
Watch
this series is over.
Looking for a kick, but it's on the Yitse, and then he just propels his momentum right onto Xiaoma. Hextech ultimatum, gets the flash out, has to reposition. Yetzi forces him out of the fight. Meanwhile, it is Remake that is unchecked. He is firing arrow after arrow, takes out the first member of the front line in Lei. 0711 forced back alongside Fado. FPX lose out on the trade, and they're down a member.
And Yuza dives in, forcing a response. Everyone has to defend Xiaoma, and no, he doesn't get the kill onto Xiaoma. He doesn't even really threaten it, immediately jumping over the wall, running away. But the fact that he Hextech ultimatums into the backline, the fact that he draws FPX's attention and ire, means that Remake is free from aggression, free to keep firing away from the backline of that fight and get a kill onto Lei. Now, 5v4, Nova, go for the Elder, go for the series.
They pressure 0711 away, but the Dragon has to be reset right now. Fado, it's all up to him to stall time for the rest of FPX to be able to reorganize and get back into position.
Xiaoma's doing so much damage right now, and his poke is enough to force Nova to back away after they're not able to catch Fado.
Xiaoma's on vision! He doesn't do the flash away! Stasis, is it going to be enough? Satchel charge, it's not going to be enough! FPX have just has lost out on the heart of their damage. 4-man knocker from Lei, but can FPX follow up? It's just to buy time for Fado to get back into the fight, but he can't find anyone with the wind slash.
True disaster for FPX, because Shalmon doesn't realize he's standing right next to a blue ward. And now, Nova can step forward and start to threaten this Elder. This will prompt a response for FPX without their major source of damage. Nova can turn and win the team fight.
They have to stall for 23 seconds. That's when Shalmon comes back up. That's when he can teleport right back into the fight. Nova have to force the advantage. They have to get this major dragon down for them. Lei completely chunked out of the fight, can't re-engage. It's Nova chunking down the dragon as fast as they can. 0-7-11, but as much time as he can, has to force the flash out. He already burned the GA. He cannot re-engage into the fight.
4,000
Nova
HP.
now burning down the dragon, turning all fronts onto it. Shama finally respawns, and he's getting right back in. FPX going for all the marbles for their chance to stay alive in this fight, but no one who took the dragon is Yitse that clips it out. Long was taken out of the fight, but it is still
Fado gets the kill.
And now Shalma is isolated. Fado has to retreat. He has to return to Shalma. 2v2 for Nova and FPX. Yami has been separated from the fight. FPX able to equalize, but the dragon goes over to Nova.
Uses stepping forward as well to try and open up this mid lane and try and get the kills they need to keep this game going. Nova have the massive advantage towards the late game. And here is a huge minion wave, pushing at the top side. Megan for the ball barely clears it. That inhibitor is no HP, Mark. It's disaster for FPX. They were in control of this game.
But they could not run the clock fast enough against Nova. They lost track of time. The Elder came, and Nova clutched it.
What a messy fight. Starts with this pick, isolated in the top side. Shalmar does go down. And then they're trying to get something back out of it, but a perfect timing on the stasis from Neon makes it so there's no way to instantly trade. At that point, you're throwing bad money after good, and so Lei and the rest of FPX disengage as best they can. Nova, though, know they have an advantage, and this is such an awkward position for FPX to be in. They have to step forward and contest. They have to somehow stall this out, and they try some truly heroic stuff. Fado dancing forward in the front lines, 0-7-11 kiting for such a long time around the side, but he loses all his HP to use it, steadily coming online, and so when his GA gets popped in a moment here by Long, he doesn't have this HP to contest this dragon. And the second they see that, the second 0-7-11 escapes on 1 HP, Nova know they can burn this dragon in earnest. And there is an attempt, you'll see at the second half of this fight, an attempt to teleport back in time to steal. It doesn't work. But the stacked abilities with the respawn from the Ziggs to make it so that Nova's HP bars drop very low, and it is indeed a teamfight turn for 0-7-11 and the rest of FPX upon the teleport arrival.
And the fact that they had taken out Long before the dragon was burned down, it gave FPX a small window of hope. But Yitse, using the second cast of the precision protocol,
you got through the team fight. It's okay. It's the downside.
6.6k on the Camille, and now Lei is into the heart of the backline once again, trying to punt forward a member of Nova
Yami's
Esports.
dead.
Yami, he gets out, but not until he gets burned down by the wind slash from Fado. Nova Esports have to be on the retreat. They have to respect the rest of the damage from FPX.
Yami started the series with such dominant performances. Now he's picked off twice in the same game. Maybe enough to give FPX a bridge back into this game, but they need to act now. They need to control this game now, because we talked about the scaling before. With the Elder in hand, it is even worse. FPX are going to have to be perfect to win teamfights from here on.
The worst fears for FPX have come to fruition. Nova Esports are online, and it is now down to miracle plays to save this game.
So FPX are back at their old tricks, trying to force Nova to step forward into a 5v5 they don't want to take. Tapping away at the Baron, seeing what happens. The Baron, of course, by 23 minutes into game, is a formidable opponent in its own right, which means that this is even sketchier behavior than it was the last time we saw it from FPX.
FPX have to maintain these minion waves being heralded in by Nova Esports. They can play the long game. They are not the ones being run down on the clock. They can play this one as long as possible, where it is FPX. It is up to them to find a window to get back.
And I want to highlight, Neon has completed Staff of Flowing Water, which is going to damage, amplify ability casts for this team. So huge completion.
Lei forcing the fight onto Neon. Mega Inferno Bomb gets a decent chunk out, but Neon, beautiful shields, absorbs it all.
So the key targets for FPX in these team fights, if they want to win despite the scaling, are shutting down Neon and shutting down Remake. Both those players have built themselves Zhonya's, and Neon is about to turn into Crystalline Reflector, something we haven't seen a whole lot this tournament. But that item will give him a massive amount of AP shielding, basically. For every AP point he has, he gets a little bit of armor.
And it's the damage reduction as well from the passive Yitse, but he's got hookshot, so he's fine.
In fact, he's going to go in. He's better than fine.
And he's stalling out 0711. Look at the FPX. They're completely caught out here. They're split. Lei forced to flash, intercepting Yitse's second hook shot, but he still has a GEA. Transcendent Embrace, pulls in Xiaomo, gets the flash out. Explosive cast doesn't make the mark here. But Fado coming in from the left side of the fight, forced to flash away from the root. FPX still has to force this fight. They have to find the damage. They have to be able to put Xiaomo forward, but he can't because his flash, while it's down, it is too dangerous for him to step up to the members of Nova Esports.
And Lei and Yezi, the two frontline characters, are just caught out and burned down.
Chain of Corruptions misses, but Yami finds the body slam. It forces 0711's flash. Frontline from FPX is forced to retreat, meaning there is not enough space for Xiaomo to walk in.
And Nova are going to try and force this the same way they did around the Elder. This is now all about the Baron.
Baron being burned down in a blanket of darkness. Mega Inferno Bomb finds the spark. Yitse has found Shaman. No flash. He's gone! And FPX have 50 seconds where they have to stall for Shaman to come back alive to stop this Baron from being taken down.
JP's in!
0711 and Lei are coming from the base. 5,000 HP on the Baron. It has been stopped for now.
0711
doing everything that he can to stall out Nova. Long will lose out on his GA from Baron, but 0711 is gone. No one can steal the smite. No one has smite for the side of FPX. It's going to be close for Nova. They secure it. And now Yezi and Lei are on the run. They are forced to flash. The last domino to potentially this winning game of the series has come through for Nova.
And Nova could rewrite history here, claiming the title of the best team for the WRL over FPX. They are one Nexus break away from knocking them out of the tournament and booking their ticket to the grand finals of the first ever Icons World Championship.
Yitse with the hook shot. Fado still no flash. Yetzi trying to play for it, but Fado's gone. An explosive cast from Yami separates Lei from the members of FPX. Xiaoma, it's all up to FPX's Dragon Later to stall out the damage away clear. But the cheers for Nova Esports! They have gone supernova! And they have clipped the wings of the Phoenix from FunPlus! Supernova soars into the sky, shining brighter than the stars as Nova upset the #1 team from the WRL.
What a game from Nova Esports. They get one win over on FPX's side, and otherwise it is 3 games where they are dismantled. We came into this series talking about Long, talking about how Nova Esports relied on their star carry to make anything happen. What we have seen when they are faced with the best team in the WRL is that Nova can also rely on Remake, can also rely on the rest of this team to carry them across the line.
Long was cemented as the best jungler in the world, but fell short during the playoffs alongside Nova Esports. In the end, it was
you know, it was a game that both teams played really well, because I would say like game 1 and game 2 FPX they didn't exactly look like the FPX we knew. Game 3 there might have been some mistakes, but game 4 was really both teams were playing very well.
This is the global championships. There's no excuses here, no ifs, ands, or buts. But honestly, I feel like FPX, those first 2 games, their fixation with the Jax draft truly cost them. And I'm ready to say here that Nova, I think they're the best prep team in the tournament. You saw their prep for Team Flash. You see now their prep for FPX. They know exactly what they need to do to beat their opponents. They have a perfect game plan every time. We'll dive more into that later on. But Nova, man, these guys are so smart.
Yeah, it feels like this entire series, just as you mentioned, it's like we're gonna fixate on the Jax. We're gonna make it work still, even though it lost in game #1. Play at game #2. FPX thought, okay, Nova.